Morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Hoping you all had a great weekend. Got some resting, got some time off the screens. Did everything you needed to get done to make yourself feel good. So before we get into today, make sure you're going through your check. All right, to go through your checklist. Have you slept enough? Have you had your water? Have you eaten something? Do you feel in a good mental and physical place to take a trade today? Make sure you go through that. If the answer is no, sit out, right? Or trade sim, do something else. Don't be putting your capital at risk if you're not feeling up to it today. Just wanted to get that out there to start. All right, so let's get into the charts like we always do, starting off in the daily. What do we have here on the daily? Right here is basically a almost 3-year uptrend. All right, and you can see it started here. First tap, second tap, third tap, coming right into it now. This is a key inflection point, all right here. And we have lots of confluence with this level right here because we've now swept liquidity. We're coming into a daily gap, and we can think about a fib from here to here, and we're at 50%. All right, so lots and lots of confluence. Now, I'm not saying that this has to go rocketing up out the gate. I'm just saying that in terms of where we are, the better short location right now is somewhere up here for a lower high before we go lower. And what I don't really want to do is keep having to short down at the lows to try and go further down. All right, so that's the key thing. That's a weekly. So let's move this over to a daily, and you can see the same thing. So we're trading at the lower Bollinger Bands, between the 5-day and the lower Bollinger Band, so far holding just about Friday's level. We swept all these guys out on Friday. This is right back to October 1st. If we're going to drift lower, we can think about these pivots into, like, I don't know, there's a tiny little gap here. That might be, that is the rollover gap. So I'm going to have to check that on the ETFs instead. So I'll ignore that for now. It's rollover, but move down to 19,300 and then all the way down here into 18,340. But really, I'd like to see some form of relief first, like I talked about. I'd like to see something up here with the 20-day coming down, try and find that mean reversion trade, and then come and retest these lows or move lower. But it might not happen. All right, Trump causing major fear in the market over the weekend. All right, not ruling out a recession. Also saying that Ukraine might be in big problems, and the tariff news also saying that, you know, if people don't get in alignment, he might put the tariffs up even more. So freaking out the market, and the market's trading back down towards those lows. We had a nice response on Friday off the levels, and we're trading back down to it. If you were here on Friday and you traded off the levels I gave you during the show, you should have had some nice long relief trades. Right, moving into the hourly chart then. So what do we have on Friday? Well, pretty much a V-shaped recovery. Here's your low, right, through that 19,800 level we talked about, the key level, max pain point for shorts. We trade down and we recovered. Market then had the opportunity to build out liquidity here. If we were opening up here today, I'd be saying, hey, I'm looking for that bullish rotation and return in. Anything above 20,200, looking for that kind of move. But unfortunately, we gapped down. We caught a bid off that key level, traded back up to it, and we're currently using it as supply. All right, so the new week opening gap right here for now acting as supply in that rotation lower. All right, you can see we came into it overnight and sold off. So we're coming back down to what? To the areas where we found buyers on Friday where shorts got stuck. So what does that mean? We have an inside bar, don't we? All right, we have an inside bar currently. Here's your low, here's your high. Everything in here for me can potentially be rotation. When does that change? If we get a breakout and a hold below and a drive down to the next level. If we get a sweep or a hold and a return back to the upside. And at this point, once we get up here, we're either thinking for breakout, hold and go, fail breakout and rotation back in, because this is a big old liquidity build now. All right, 1 point of control, 2 points of control, 3 points of control. All right, these are overnight, Friday session, overnight. We have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of what we're doing right now. How big is that range? Massive. All right, that's a 500-600 point range of doing range rotation. Don't get stuck in it. Do not get stuck in it. Do not be adding to losers in a range rotation that's that big. All right, you will get yourself in trouble. Anyone who did the same on Friday, let's think about this, who started adding short and 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 blew up. All right, so you cannot do that. All right, respect the edges of the range until proves otherwise. That's what we're going to do today. That's the name of the game today. Having a little dial in then, here is our opening gap for the week. And like we talked about, we rotated down. I think this was the comment on recession yesterday. And from this point, we put in this pivot, came back up to the new week opening gap and failed. So London sold back down, sweeping Asia out. And we're back down to the Friday pool of liquidity where we found a bounce. What don't I want to do today? What I don't want to do is get short in here. I know that's a decent size range. I know it's a couple hundred points. But what I'd rather do is wait to see, do we either hold this for a return back into, let's call it 20,000. So that's going to offer me 200 points. If we hold over that, 20,000, well, 175, and then 20,200, someone up here, or a sweep and a return, or if we're going to get heavy under here, really, really heavy, and return back in and use this as supply, I'll look for that continuation trade. That would be my least favorite trade for the day. Reason being, I will effectively be having to short low of day, low of week, low of month, low of quarter, low of year. But hey, that's the market we're in right now. We're in a very, very weak market, so we're going to follow whatever it offers. Main chart offering exactly the same things, right? Just in more detail, but you can see where we got stuck last week at these lows after we swept that 19,800. We talked about that level on Friday on stream numerous times. When we were up here yesterday on Friday, we talked about this level. This is the same play that we had on Thursday, remember? Failed at the top, rotation underneath, stay heavy versus IB high, come down for daily pool liquidity, W shape, push inside. There's your inverted head and shoulder for the drive all the way back to NFP, all right? We called that on Discord, and we talked about that potential trade setting up live on YouTube. Having a look at the rest of the mag then, what have we got? Everything is gapping down, okay? Everything's gapping down. Apple gapping down significantly off previous day close. Microsoft doing the same. Amazon doing the same. Google, the weak one today, right? Gapping down underneath previous day low. Reason for that is the government and the Fed come out saying that they have a monopoly and they need to split up their company. Specifically, they're looking at Chrome, right? They're saying you've got to sell Chrome or put it in a different company. You can't have everything bundled together. So weakness in the market there. Meta gapping down, but again, inside Friday's range. Nvidia the same, gapping down, but inside Friday's range. Very similar to what we're seeing in the market. And Tesla remains the weak one, okay? Amid fears that, they don't like that Elon is working at the government. They've got declining sales there, and it's becoming more and more of a problem. That thing having a major, major haircut right now. Let's have a quick look at the bonds, right? The main thing I want to look at is the 10-year. Where's my 10-year? There you are. So currently trading at the 200-day. Key inflection point, all right? Started to sell off last week before finding a bit of a bid. So I do have one eye on that higher time frame. Let me have a quick look at the Dixie as well, inside all of its range. Starting to trade downside. Google's still finding that drive higher. Google Gold still building liquidity, finding that drive higher. God, can't get my words out. Monday morning. And a quick look at the ETFs then as well. All look in unison with the market right now. They look pretty much in unison. All rotating, gapping down, currently holding that demand area that we created on Friday. All right, so that's the big level. Where we put in that W shape on Friday, that is the level we're looking at. Do they hold that? Do they sweep that before a return back upside? Or are these markets actually just going to be very, very weak and continue to sell off? Very possible. I'm not in a rush today. I'm never in a rush, but especially today, Monday morning, all right, when we're inside bar, I just want to wait to see what we're going to do, because I know if I can make it till Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, I'm going to have more of an idea, more edge on what I think this market can potentially do in terms of a weekly model. Sorry, I'm just marking out all my key levels here on the ETFs, just so everything's nice and clean for me. All right, I think that's it. move you back to a 5-minute chart. There we go. All right, so should be all ready then. All right, so we're watching those inside bar type moves, right? Your range is basically Friday's extremes. Friday's low, green mark. Friday's high, red mark. We're expecting rotation between these. They can sweep or they can hold, all right? But we're expecting rotation between these. The other key level I'd be looking at is this right here, all right? Do we get stuck versus this, right? Or do we get acceptance above it for the drive up? So that is definitely a key level. That's where buyers came in yesterday and we've sold back under it. You can see this swipe up this morning, came and tapped that level. So I might just mark that off very lightly as a key level. Just do it as grey for now. And we also have this new week opening gap. Let's get rid of these for a second. From the open to the close. Slightly different. There we go. All right. So we're all ready to go. We've got a couple minutes left. You should be prepared. Watching for range rotation. Not in a hurry this morning. Let's see what everyone is saying in the chat then as well. And let's go through this poll. So most people, by the looks of it, thinking that we have more pain for bulls this week. Interesting. I've got no edge right now. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'll know from Tuesday, Wednesday. Good morning, Clint, Miguel, Jeff, Arturo, JD Florida Man, BU, Ramus, Peter, Vince, Christy, Jesse M, Leron, Jack Hudkins, Trentry, Indicator, Thumper, Mindful Matters, Stephen W, Andrew G, Miguel, Derek, and Eva. Good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Just under 1 minute left. Phenom Z, good morning. Ironclad. Yes, like Iron said, do me a favor, smash that like button. Smash that like button. Just helps me with the stream. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps the stream grow. And we're just waiting this morning, right? As we come back into where we found a bid yesterday or Friday. I keep saying yesterday, Friday. So what I don't want to do really is get short into this. All right. I know there's decent size here, but ideally I don't want to be short into this. Ideally I want to wait, much like Friday last week. I didn't want to get short into the lows once we took out 18,800. I was thinking long for the return back up. So now we're in this huge range. We've just got to see if we respect this and find buyers on the tape this morning or not. So that's really the question right now. Do these buyers come back in at these levels from Friday? Here's the opening bell. And I need my glasses on. I can't see a thing right now. And let's see what we get, folks. All right, let's see what we get in this opening drive. So opening up with a gap down, market heavy. Tesla 4% down, Nvidia 2.4% down, Meta 3.17% down, Google 3.3% down, Amazon 2.23% down, Microsoft 2.22% down, and Apple 1.58% down. As you can see, market gapping down at the open. Let's put that New York print in before I forget. Where is it? Right here. All right, let's get you in your openers there. There we go. Let's get that New York print in. And we'll just see. I'm just going to let this shake out. Morning, Julian. Hey, good morning, everyone. We've got some buyers on the books here at 19,850. All right, 100 lot there. And then it sort of thins out a bit. Just want to let this shake out, let these guys get filled, see what we're going to do after the fact, all right? See what we're going to do after the fact. I'd love us to sort of come down here and trap some bulls. Oh, there we go. Trap some bulls down in this area would be great. Ideally, maybe we do a little sweep. Well, we've swept overnight. So either we sweep and hold for that rotation or we come down and hold for that rotation. That would be really, really nice if we're going to do that for a morning drive, just to go and sort of reprice some of the London and Asia, which looks like it's already going to try and do. We've opened up, we've swept overnight. If we're going to start reclaiming again, this level here is key. That's the sort of this pullback here, which happened overnight and got absorbed. That was the recession talk. I'm pretty sure it's when Trump said, hey, I'm not ruling out a recession. All right, so how we react over that will become key at that point. So right now, sitting out and waiting. Just waiting. Market is bleeding right now. Remember, the higher time frame narrative remains in a sell. All right, we've done nothing but sell. I would love us to find a bounce at some point. Again, that's not because I want to get long. It's that if we're going to sell lower, I would love to find some relief in this market on a daily and weekly standpoint that I can then sell into rather than selling the lows. I hate it when all we're doing is printing new low, new low, new low, new low. Some point you're going to get squeezed. So those shorts learnt their lesson on Friday. Well, maybe they didn't, but they should have learnt their lesson on Friday. Why you do not short underneath big daily levels. So these are the key levels right now. Coming into previous day low, previous week low. This green line, that's where we're trading into right now. Yes, probably a tiny bit stronger here. Hasn't swept its overnight low yet, or let's say it's pre-market low. Hasn't swept that yet. Market remaining heavy here. Opening drive remains heavy. It's going down towards that previous week low. Now, underneath that, I've marked this daily level out, 19,726. And then after that, it's way, 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 way lower. We're all the way into the 1800s for the next like big level that I'm looking at. I think it's 1800s, yeah, 1880. Like I said, very probable that we came down into here. Not a short that I want to take at those lows, even though it's a big move. Just be careful with your ATR. Maybe I haven't mentioned that today. Maybe it's the one thing I need to mention today. The ATR, these candles are no joke. All right, this is 80-point candle in your first 2 minutes. Be smart, be careful. Once we take previous day low, previous week low, I can think about if and what next. That's what I'm kind of waiting for right now. If we're going to sweep it and start turning inside, I'm going to think about how I can trade that. If we're going to stay heavy versus it, I'm going to think about where we can trade down to. And it might be into that daily imbalance. We have a big daily imbalance from back in September that I am looking at. Nice and patient here on a Monday morning, folks. Don't go starting your week off clicking buttons without being prepped. If you were in this short, if there was a reason for you to take this short, if you were comfortable taking this short after this failure, that's great. Like I said, very probable that we came down into here. I don't want to get short in this green box, really. Not unless we break below it. Just going to stick to my rules and go from there. Been in this trade since 20,100. Oh, what a beauty. Pays to be living in Europe, eh? 20,100. So the failure to reclaim that gap, very nice. From there, nice drift lower. Very nice, Peter. Stayed heavy versus VWAP as well. Yeah, finding a little bit of a bid in front of those lows right now. Finding a little bit of a bid in front of those lows. Remember, all I'd say is remember 19,800 was the daily level. Right, I remember it from last week. Anything under 19,800 was excess. Your daily liquidity was right here. All right, and so far this morning we're holding it, showing a willingness to not get a close beneath it right now. So just remember that. Be careful. It's a violent bounce here. These are no jokes when they're bouncing like this. This is not a joke. These are very aggressive candles. Oh, and a bit of a freeze on my computer then. Couldn't even move the chart. Filling me with confidence this morning. Just got a tornado warning there in Florida. Oh my gosh. Careful with your internet and stuff then. Oh. Still lots of jostling on the tape. Can see all these orders looking to get filled still. Yes, exactly, Peter. It has, hasn't it? We talked about that, you and I, last week. It loves leaving those levels to come back for later recently. Very much so. So everything in sync right now. Spiders rejecting their VWAP on the SPY, QQQ underneath its VWAP. So the ETFs did sort of try and tap their VWAPs just to check, and they're staying heavy in the sell. So we're watching to see what happens after previous week low, previous day low is sort of taken, or if it's protected, and then I can think about a trade. If you were already in short like Peter from way, way higher, you look very, very good. Hopefully taking a bit of a partial, and you can hold to try and see if it attacks this sweep. And then if it does, we do have a daily imbalance, right? 19,700 all the way down to 19,400. That's going way, way back into September. Another node at 726. Okay, good to know. That's basically just above the imbalance on the daily. Nice, Peter. Yeah, paying yourself along the way. So far, staying heavy. Every drive up so far failing, and it wants to come and take this out. The question is, do they protect this area? Right, do we rotate from here? Do they protect in front of it? I'm not looking to buy this market yet. All right, there's nothing in here telling me that I need to buy this market right now. But what I am aware of is, like we talked about pre-market, the potential range rotation. The range can be a sweep and a go back to here. If we get acceptance above that, it can be all the way back up to here or up to the gap, and then all the way back down until we prove otherwise. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. What we have to watch is our sizing. These candles are no joke. VIX also swept previous day high. Just to make you aware, VIX did sweep previous day high. So we have a little divergence if you want to compare like VIX to the ES and SPY. VIX swept previous day high and is trading back inside the range. That would be the equivalent of us sweeping previous day low on the ES and SPY and trading back inside the range, which we haven't done yet. We have not swept yet on the market, but we have on the VIX. So just slight bit of divergence in terms of positioning there. Still no buttons being pushed for me. I am just waiting here. Going to be nice and patient. Tesla now 5.78% down, almost 6% down. That thing is getting slaughtered underneath 250 now. Morning, Mr. Slim. Market heavy, heavy, heavy. SPY back to VWAP here, trying to trade through its VWAP here on the SPY. ES trying to join in. Remember, Q's relative weakness. Why? Because the MAG have been heavy. All right, so you might get some relief in the spiders before you do in the Q's if things like healthcare and the banking sector find a little bid. So far, tech is heavy. Why does it feel like it's not going to do the sweep today again? Why does it feel like that, eh? Still underneath that New York open print, remember? Still underneath London and Asia lows. Still underneath that pivot low that we put on recession talk. That's sort of the orange line. Still underneath VWAP. Lots of liquidity being created down here. Point of control is shifted all the way down here. Most volume now from overnight and today traded at 19,888. Back up to that opening print now. ES about to sweep. What high is that? It's like 9 a.m. high. Here's point of control on the day here. Are they going to let this through for some relief? Are they going to protect those lows, or do the sellers come back in here versus point of control and gun back for those lows from Friday? That's the question. Again, still not in this right now. No edge right now. ES trying to find a bid though. VIX is starting to turn after taking previous day high. It's very, very small right now, but it is trading back inside its range currently. So like I said, there was some divergence there versus previous day high, previous day low positioning in the market. VIX taking out the liquidity, turning back inside. The rest of the market has not done that yet. Rejecting that New York Open so far. Again, last thing I want to do is get chopped up to start my Monday. Feels like this wants to drift higher right now without sweeping, which is feels like we're saying the same thing, doesn't it, as we've said all last week. Feels like it wants a bit of relief without sweeping. That would be kind of ugly, and that is exactly what the Qs have done for like the last week or so, isn't it? Exactly what they've done. Watching ES here. Market's starting to try and find a bid. It's a little bit jumpy here. Watching that 930 level. It keeps tapping into that 930 level. Might get some acceptance here. Who knows? But again, hasn't swept. It's the worst thing is it's not sweeping. So here we go. Back to the top of that range. Now, you got to watch for this drive here. If we get acceptance for this drive into here, orange mark. It's going to be key. If it's going to go, that's where it's going to go and test. Trying to see if that mark is on ES. I'll mark that same level out on ES quickly. We're coming into it. We're getting close. I'm just going to wait. Morning, Crawford. Morning, everyone. Letting this shake out. So we're in, as a reminder, right now, structurally, right, we're in the key levels from Friday, aren't we? This is where we found that W from Friday and drove up. So now we're drifting back into there. We're waiting to see if Dubai's show up for a drive all the way back into here. All right, something like this. Or do we sell down and then do it? Or do we sell down and reject to go lower? Just waiting for it to shake out, because positionally, it's not ideal right now. It's not an ideal short location. There's the squeeze. So starting to try and initiate this squeeze. ES has just come up to that pivot that we talked about, the orange box. ES is already there right now. Finding some sellers. Nice, Peter. Yeah, I think it was a great trade, though. A great trade, but we are protecting a previous day low by the looks of it for now. ES still under VWAP, SPY over VWAP, QQQ just about over VWAP, NQ not there yet. Feels like it wants to find relief in the market. It feels like it wants to squeeze, but it is messy. Messy, messy, messy. Right back up to the top of the sort of opening print. Right here, pre-market high. So this is tricky to think about a trade yet, because it's still open to this and it's open to this. I kind of prefer it once we get above there. If we can get above here, then maybe I feel more confident, especially if it's above VWAP, for a drive to come and take some of these guys out if we're going to do that counter trend move. Until that, I'm not convinced about anything. Flow zone's pointing down. Main trend is still downside, but we have protected those lows. ES rejecting that low we talked about. Same orange box. ES traded into it, tapped it, found a seller there this morning. Liquidity sort of spread out on the book here. Not convinced about anything right now. Very, very thin on the book here this morning. No news this morning as well, so that probably not helping. Lots of traders will be waiting right now for bigger cues, let's say, in the market. Bigger cues, so either a failure or a continuation. Bear with me, folks. I'm just put some more milk in this. It is strong, this coffee this morning. There we go. Wife trying to start me off by fueling me up with the strongest coffee ever. Okay, so finding sellers at that New York Open. Again, like I said, there was divergence. ES got up into here and took this out and then started trading downside. So we're still waiting. Still no edge in this market. We're trading back and forth right now. These previous day lows are sitting there trying to get taken for sure. I just don't want to short in this location right now. Even though it's very possible we can come down here, I don't love this location for a short. When you think about the location for the short, how much higher it was, either all the way up here, or this breakdown and retest, or this breakdown and retest, or this breakdown and retest. Now we're shorting so much lower. You know, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of points lower than the ideal location. So just being cautious here. Slow start to the day, but I don't mind that on a Monday. Do not mind that on a Monday. We'll be extra fussy and pick our way into this market at the right time. So SPY is trying to hold its VWAP here. It printed over VWAP. It's trying to hold its VWAP. ES is not through its VWAP yet. Letting this market shake out. QQQ well below the VWAP. Feels like it wants to go for those previous day lows, doesn't it? That's what it feels like it wants to do. Feels like it just wants to slam down into those previous day lows. Finding a bid there, SPY at the VWAP. If this market doesn't take out previous day low after doing this, it's going to be pretty ugly, and it's going to, I feel like I'm just Groundhog Day. This is what we've been saying the last few days, the same thing, like NQ just leaving liquidity frequently right now. Even this little bounce here, it's like 50-point bounce on a 1 minute without coming down here. You know, it's kind of ugly, that. To be honest with you, pretty ugly. Midpoint of the range in this session as well. Yeah, NQ just trading back and forth and back and forth. I'm just going to wait for it to get out of whatever mode it's in right now. We've got 10 minutes until the new hourly candle as well. So we've got to think about it. Is this hourly candle going to search for those lows, or is it going to protect those lows? ES looks like it wants to put in its first higher low on the day on like a 5 minute or 2 minute chart. It's going to have to get through VWAP though, and it's going to have to get through that orange box. What are you doing? Has to make its decision here. Either it's going to fail this liquidity and come down, or it's going to reclaim it and start doing this. I'm just waiting right now. New hourly candle coming, new 4 hour candle coming. Book is pretty thin. The book is pretty thin as well. You know, I'm seeing like orders above are like 10 lots. It's not pretty. And the protection at 19,800 is just a 90 lot, right? And then under that, a 30 lot and a 50 lot. There's not much size on the book this morning. Tesla now 6.5% down. This thing is getting destroyed. If it keeps going, I wouldn't be surprised to see it going 10% down and go SSR. So more selling here. Are they going to go for those hourly lows now? Hourly lows, sorry, previous day low. You would think that they're going to go for previous day low after a kill candle like that, wouldn't you? But let's see if they're going to finally do it. Protecting it so far. ES divergence. We had new low of day there on the Qs, not on the ES. So choppy, choppy, choppy. And we talked about this right at the beginning, and I definitely talked about it in Discord. When we have an inside bar day like this with no news, we do expect chop. That's what we're seeing so far. We're seeing chop so far. We just swept right here our current low of day. ES has not done that yet. This is the target. This is where it wants to get to right now. It's where it should go. It should really get down there and trade through it, and then we can think about what's what. Now it looks like it's starting to accelerate here. We're going to think about this new hourly bar and 4-hour bar as well. It would be very odd to come this close and not take it, but that would be the signature of NQ the last, I would say, 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks it's done stuff like that. Only 20 points away from taking it out. You would expect it to take it out. And we've got a bit of liquidity on the book at 775 all the way down to 750. It should just come and take this out. It shouldn't keep faffing around here, right? It shouldn't need to protect that low there, really. After this like big sell coming in the last sort of couple minutes, you would expect it to sell downside here and take out the low. There we go. So low now taken. How low can we go? How low can we go? Can we go into that new day opening gap all the way down to 709? And now we can think about how do we operate down here? Are we going to, if you took this short, well done. Remember, the next daily pool of liquidity is this level right here. 44s is what I'm looking at. And from that point, we have a big imbalance, right? We have a big gap from 700, or not a gap, but a imbalance from 700 to 400. I'm going to mark that out. Let's just mark that out. From 700. Come on, chart. Help me out here. From 700. Really? From 700, let me draw it. Not that hard, to 400. Okay, so this right here is a big old imbalance on a daily. But we have now swept previous day low, previous week low. All right, so mission 1 complete as we come into that new hourly bar. Now, if we're going to trade upside, where are shorts going to get stuck? Down here. All right, so if we're going to trade upside, the relief will start to come. I prefer it up above these if I'm really thinking about upside. Peter, yeah, I'm sorry about that, mate. It's so hard, isn't it? When it protects it and it comes this close, it'd be all right if it just did that. It's the fact that these relief bounces against you are like, what, 150 points? You got to sit through. What's that, from 788? Oh, like 130 points. Like, it's not nice sitting through that, is it? It's not nice. I don't blame you for getting out at all. I don't blame you. Made taco money. Nice, Ironclad. Yeah, so that bear flag played out. Down into here. I'm just waiting to see what we do now. Waiting to see what we do now. Still trying to fully recover from this virus. You can hear it in my chest a little bit. But yeah, more interested in the market now that we've swept. ES has not swept, and in fact, ES so far is producing a higher low on a lower time frame there. All right, so sort of indicating it might want to drift back high. I'm going to try and wait for this new 1 hour bar here. Jack, no, definitely not. Waiting for it to confirm that there's a bottom and then thinking about if there's a rotation counter trend trade or not. Peter Carr, exactly the size of the candles, it was not good to stay in. Just so I could say I was right. Oh, that's it. Exactly. You took your profit over your ego. That's the best way to trade, isn't it? Is it ES trying to trade upside here? ES still has not taken previous day low out. It has put in a higher low on a lower time frame. I'm trying to wait here another 2.5 minutes. You can think about the new H4. God, that coffee's strong. My wife came back from Costa Rica, bought a bag of coffee with her, and it is strong. Wow, way too strong. I'll take a normal cup of joe. It's a medium roast over this any day in the morning. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Wow. So far, NQ, though, respecting every level down. We can move this if you want into an M1 right now. I had an M2 to try and make it a bit cleaner for you, but watching these pivots here, think about this hourly transition. You've got 90 seconds left in this hourly transition. How we close here is important after we've just swept. Aaron, we now have our own label of coffee. You've got your own one. Amazing. Market very, very heavy. Tesla now 7% down. So 3% away from going SSR. Right, like we talked about. Would not surprise me at all to see Tesla go SSR today. Thing is getting whacked. Oh, my wife. No, well, she just bought it back from, it was like a local one made. She went for a surf and yoga retreat for a week, and it was a local one made there that she really liked. Flow Zone coffee, yeah. Trust me, this one is not Flow Zone coffee. This is like jittery beans, let's call it that. It's pretty strong. Pretty strong. It's got me feeling fidgety in my seat. This is not how I want to feel when I trade. Yeah, exactly. Chad, NQ coffee. Yeah, that's a good one. Nasdaq bean. All over the place, giving you heart attacks, left, right, and center. All right, new hourly candle here then. So we're watching for either a failed breakout on this hourly and a trade back inside, or if they're going to stay heavy. Remember, ES has not swept yet. ES still has room to go and sweep. New low of day coming on the NQ here. Here it comes. So hourly bar so far extending in the new hour. Remember, this is your new hourly bar. It's 1 minute bar. So we've taken out previous hourly lows right here. We can rebalance all the way up to 860 if it wants to. 860, yeah, to the top of this. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Right now we are remaining in a sell. Structure-wise, we're in, at least on the NQ, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. I'm not thinking about the long yet unless we do that. Or if we do this and get stuck, I feel better about a short. Just don't want to chase the short. If I don't get a trade today, that's also okay. Monday morning, I'm fine. Waiting for my setups to show themselves. So far, it looks very heavy here. Remember, we've got that daily imbalance right here. I think I'm just going to quickly check that that is the case on the Qs, because I know we are into sort of rollover territory. All right, so Qs are actually coming into daily levels where we found buyers. So 79 all the way down to 77. I'm glad I just checked that there. Glad I just checked that there. Qs can come and trade down to 77.40s, and that would clear out a lot of swing buyers in the market on the Qs. This is the one issue. If you didn't trade with me last week, the only issue we have at the moment is when looking left on the dailies on the futures, we are looking so far back that we're looking at old contracts. And at that point, sometimes you get discrepancy in price, right? Which is why when we get things like this, I come and cross-check quickly the ETFs because they will always give me a truer price because there's no rollover on the ETFs. Okay, here goes the ES breaking down now. ES looking like it's going to take out that previous day low now, previous week low. Market very, very heavy here. Tesla now almost 8% down. So since we last talked, almost another % down. And we are coming towards this daily imbalance, right? Coming towards that daily imbalance we talked about. That's a rollover gap. I keep seeing the gap and thinking it's a real gap. It's just a rollover gap. So lower prices, no reason to long this right now. Shorts are paying so far this morning. Lower highs, lower lows continue. ES still not taking out previous day low. So 8% down now on Nvidia. Oh, sorry, Nvidia on Tesla. Nvidia 3.3% down. Meta 3.7% down. Google 4.25% down. Amazon 2.65% down. Microsoft 2.25% down. Apple 4.04% down. Market is bleeding. No reason to long this right now. Any long you take today, if it sets up anything for you at all, will be counter trend. This hourly bar, if we think about this hourly bar, it's expanding this range violently. All right. Ideally, I wanted like a pullback into here on the hourly to get short into or a reclaim to go. These are the days which I absolutely hate, right? We're shorting new lows on year, new lows on the week, new lows on the day all the time. It's begging for shorts to get squeezed when we do this, but hey, it is what it is. Watching ES come into previous day low. We're into that daily imbalance now. This is a daily imbalance now. Right, we are into discount for sure in this swing range. We're into a daily imbalance. QQQ, like I said, if it wants to clean up all those stops, it can come down to 477.40. That's the one thing I would say. The big difference between the markets right now, if you look at the QQQs and the daily on the QQQs, it has got some stops it can come and check out and move out of the market. The SPY is about to take them out. I'd say 65. I'm going to put this in 65. Where's the horizontal line here? Got a double bottom here. 65.30 looks like a big level on the SPY. 65.30. So maybe if it takes out previous day low, it quickly goes and hunts those, and we can think about what's what. So we did take out previous day low there by a tick on the ES. So if you're in these shorts, make sure you're paying yourself some money because it might find some relief soon, and then just hold your runners. $25 minutes left until the IB is set. IB currently already 213 points big, and it's going to get expanded here by the looks of it. Finding a bid there on that daily imbalance so far. Kind of, having looked at those daily levels on the spiders now and the Qs, I kind of want those to be taken before I think about anything, because we're that close, it might as well go and take them. So really not thinking about any counter trend long at all right now. Market's very, very heavy, and it's gunning for daily levels. So unfortunately, I should probably be in this from earlier, but stuck to my rules. I didn't really want to be short in this green box, even though it started setting up. Didn't really want to be short where I know that we found buyers on Friday, but that's just how it is. If we come and back up and reject that green box, right? If we come back up and reject this kind of level, I can think about a continuation. If we reclaim it, then I'm going to think about that counter trend long. We're running out of levels to look for now. Q's just ran this level here. This was a daily level. I can remove it now. QQQ's got room to go further, like I talked about. The ETFs can bleed further. 477.40 on the QQQ and 565.30 on the SPY. Those are the levels. Watching the H1 as well, that old H1 low, 748. See if they sell into that or not, or if they're going to let this through to rebalance on the H1 after sweeping previous day low. No reason to go long yet. Market trying to find a bit of relief here, but we can stay heavy versus this box versus previous week low, remember. We have hit targets on the futures, but maybe not on the ETFs yet. Potentially has lower prices to gun for on the ETFs. Daily gap fill is what you see for now. On what day, Mr. Slim? I mean, we're gapping down significantly if you're talking about today. And if you're talking about the NQ rather than the QQQ, that is a rollover gap if you're looking back left rather than a genuine gap, which is why I keep looking at the ETFs. So another bear flag here. Looks like it wants to drive lower again. Thursday, the 12th of what? '12th of what, my friends? Which month? So ES so far, 3 taps into that previous day low. It's finding bids there so far on the ES. September, 12th of September. I don't have a gap there. I don't think that's the right day you're looking at. We've traded into that already. There's no gap there. The only gap I have on the chart is a rollover gap. Unless I'm just looking at trading view, so it might be different, but this is what happens when we go that far back. Probably 16th, 17th of September, I have a rollover gap, which I'm not going to consider a gap because it's not real. Maybe we're looking at different things there, I don't know. Market's still building liquidity out here. Remember, we're into a daily imbalance. Into here. We have levels on the spiders for it to drive lower to. Like I said, if spiders stay heavy versus previous day low, it can come and clean up 565.30. QQQ can come and clean up 477.42. Feels like it wants to drift lower. What I don't really want to do, like I keep saying, is getting short. It's not offering me. It's offering me great momentum. It is not offering me any great location to get short. I want to be short in here. I want to be short versus this now, and it's not offering it. So I just have to sit out. If it's not going to come to me, I'm not going to get it. Oh, sorry, fair value gap fill. Okay, an imbalance. I understand. I thought you meant like an actual gap on the chart. I was like, I can't see that gap. Which wouldn't surprise me if you saw one and I didn't. Again, because we're into old contracts. This is what happens. Data gets a little bit wonky on futures when we're trading. You know, we've got to think about it. We're trading 6 months back now. We're back in September. We're in March now. Trading 6 months back. Okay, it feels unwilling to go lower. Really feel like a flush should come here in how we're setting up, but at the moment feels unwilling to move lower after sweeping previous day low. Another try and bid up here. Another attempt to bid up here on the ES. Definitely in a strong downtrend. Spiders have now taken previous day low. They hadn't taken them before. They have fully taken them now. VIX back above previous day high. It's coming back to backtest it. Let's see if it can find a bid in here or not. This is going to be key now for the rest of the day. You are 20 minutes away from that initial balance. Range continuing to expand for now. Morning, Marek. Again, the booklet's pretty thin. The orders on the book, we're not looking at thick orders today. They look pretty thin. Tesla now 8.45% down. This thing is getting absolutely hammered. Not a buyer in sight for that name. Not a buyer in sight. Building out a little range down here now. It's your range. Do not want to go against this market in something this heavy. It's going to have to really convince me to pull the trigger today. Maybe if we keep going lower, maybe we look at that weekly model Tuesday, Wednesday for the rebalance. If we're going to keep getting heavy the first few days. And if we pop up here finding sellers, 100 lot on the book up here in front of 750. So ES holding previous day low after sweeping it. Relative strength here in the ES and the SPY. All right, it definitely has a little relative strength after sweeping it. We are considerably underneath it in the Qs. You can see the difference. ES is over this green line. ES has basically done this and swept and is over it. We are underneath this right now. So relative weakness in the Qs. So if you're going to be long this morning at all, the easier long's probably going to be in the ES by the looks of it. Q's already 2.5% down on the day. 2.5% down. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Exactly, Chris. Which is why the spider's holding up slightly better. But, you know, tech was been frothy for a long time, hasn't it? I said to a friend of mine on over the weekend, you know, when you really look at it, all we're back to is sort of pre-election levels. It's not like the worst thing in the world because we did drive up off absolutely nothing. Here is previous day high test here on the VIX. Just watching that with one eye. So we build out this liquidity, start to go sideways here. So there's a chance of a failed auction or an auction play coming up here if we're going to print near the lows as we come into that initial balance. You really think that the spiders would go and clean up the lows. The daily low is an old daily wick at 65.29. Kind of felt like it would go and take it, but apparently not. Apparently he doesn't want to do it. Again, just waiting and stalking here. So far, every single pot being sold into, we maintain that strong down channel, right? Strong down channel. Like this. Right, there's your channel so far in the session. Not much relief outside of that. Maybe now, start of a squeeze. If it can trade back through previous day low, previous week low, that green line will be key. Well, Chris, but if you're holding, are you holding long term though? If you're not trading it, if you're investing in it, I wouldn't worry too much. Like with all these things, like close your eyes and come back in 10 years. Yeah, I mean, everyone's IRA will look like a shambles if they're comparing it to last year, right? If you keep making comparisons to 6 months ago, it's going to look bad, or like 12 months ago, or 3 months ago, maybe. But if you're comparing it to 5 years ago, you know, then you're going to look very good. So still not through previous week low here, still finding sells. Every pop so far being sold into. There might be a squeeze coming at some point, but Nothing yet that I'm interested in. This can just build up liquidity sideways for a new bear flag down. No big sort of no big thing like this yet where they trap. It's just very, very steady selling so far this morning. And now we're sort of moving sideways a little bit. That bear flag being built out. Like I said, I want to see spiders take those key levels. Same with the Qs that we talked about on the daily charts. Derek, I've just seen your email. I'm going to add you in now. I think you're probably on stream. So every pop still being sold into. There you go. Just send it to you now, my friend. Sorry, I only just see that now. My apologies. Yes, caps, yeah. Or NQ is right on it. Right, NQ is literally right on it. Right on it. And on this sort of uptrend that we talked about. It's a huge, huge level here on the daily and the weekly. Right, so I wouldn't be surprised if we overshoot it and then find a turn, but this is a big, big level. Remember, this goes back years. This is not like a short-term uptrend. This is from Jan 23. All right, so it's a two-year trend here that we're tapping into. Lots of confluence here to think about. At some point, we might find buyers. It might overshoot it and then turn. It'd be a good way to trap. Those are the things I'm looking at. Like I said, watching spiders, I'm watching 56530. On the QQQ, I'm watching 47740. Those are like big, big levels on the ETFs of where we have daily liquidity. So that's what I'm watching on those. We keep expanding the range lower. Every single bull in this market who keeps trying to find the bottom so far is getting wrecked. VIX holding that previous day high so far. Drifted back into it, found a bid there. Would it be too early for a short squeeze or carry on into tomorrow? Don't carry a crystal ball. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely coming into levels, but I don't think there's... Shorts don't feel trapped right now, do they? Bulls feel trapped. Bulls bid against Friday's level. Oh, bulls bid against Friday's level, and again, and then they got liquidated, right? So shorts probably came in here to help liquidate them. I didn't join this because I'm looking for that return to sell, which we didn't get, unfortunately. So again, still just sat on my hands here, unfortunately. I'd say yes, it's too early to think about a short squeeze right now. Let it build out momentum. Remember, the last short squeeze we had was on Friday, so anyone who didn't want to carry over the weekend probably got squeezed out on Friday already. Market feels like it's in a hurry to move lower. Tesla now 9%. All right, so only 1% away from going SSR, like I talked about. I think it's probably going to happen today. Spiders now took that daily level. All right, Spiders took that daily level 56530. We traded down to 56519 and it found a bid. QQQ has not taken out its last level, which is 47735. Spiders took, that was a big, big daily level we just took and found a bid off. Big, big daily level, cleaning it up. And we're into those downtrends, right? It's trying us to hold those downtrends on the higher time frames. Again, market's very, very thin here. I'm watching the book. It's jumping around a little bit with like 10 and 20 lots. No big size coming into this book yet this morning. Yeah, exactly, Coop. Just getting nailed, isn't it? Nailed. Oh, this is probably the longest I've gone without a trade for a little while. Coming into that initial balance, 8 minutes away. We're into the daily imbalance right now. We have now taken out the key liquidity on the SPY. QQQ has got close but hasn't taken it out. It has a run down to 477.40 possible. It's trying to find a bid here now that it's swept on the spiders. This feels like a little bit of a short squeeze starting to happen here. But again, we're still in that downtrend. We're still in that range. Still holding on. Once we took that daily level on the spiders, that felt like a big, big level, and it's held since then. It's trying to trade upside since then. Yeah, same, Peter. I have them right there, and on the. I'm pretty sure on the weekly. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, on the weekly, on all time frames. It's not like I said, it's not an ideal short location, but we are in sort of major panic mode right now in the market. If Trump saying things like recession is not out the question does not feed the market with confidence, does it? And he said that yesterday. So it kind of freaks everyone out a little bit, like. And then he said, you know, if people don't agree to my tariffs, I'm going to put them up even more. You know, this is not feeding the market with confidence. What does the market like? It likes nice stability. That's all the market wants, nice stability. It wants to know what we can price in. It doesn't want like panic. It hates panic because we go risk off when we get panic, which is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing just a risk off environment. I'm watching to see if they start building sort of that inverse head and shoulders look here. If they're going to protect, nothing setting up yet, but if they're going to protect, they will protect like this. But really, the problem is the QQQ has targets it can reach for down here, whereas the SPY has kind of already done that reach. So it's a little bit tricky. VIX starting to trade back inside underneath the previous day high here. Let's see if the spiders are going to like have a little shove up here, or if everything's going to be sold into. Like I said, the big problem with the Qs is the QQQ has not taken out some daily liquidity which it can hunt for, whereas the spiders it has already done that move. But I'm watching in case it wants to do that inverse head and shoulders. But again, we're in a strong downtrend. Everything's still saying down. We haven't had a change of structure to the upside. Like everything is printing lower prices right now. There's nothing in this saying, hey, let's get a relief bounce here right now. Everything right now is just lower, 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 lower. All right, every pop today has been sold into, but maybe at some point we get lucky and that changes, and then I can think about a short after we get a squeeze up. But It doesn't feel likely right now, does it? Shorts in ES are trapped. No, no one's trapped in this market right now. No one's trapped in this market right now. We're moving lower. Maybe bulls have been trapped by bidding on it, but I wouldn't say anyone particularly trapped in this market at the moment. We're just gently drifting lower. Controlled selling lower right now. So 3 minutes away from the initial balance, remember. At that point, we can think about auction and failed auction and these things. ES coming back towards previous day low, as is the spiders. Now, are they going to find a bid here and protect it, or are we just going to go and make another new low? A decent range today on the initial balance, right? When we're going to set it, we're going to have at least 250 points of range here. Hopefully capped. Hopefully at the right now, I'm just like, can I get something? Can I get something, or is this if it keeps going lower without giving me like good RR, it's going to be really hard for me to get involved on a short. Everything just saying lower, lower, lower right now. So 1 minute left until we get the IB. Market now 550 points down. This is the problem. We're looking to short when the market's already 550 points down. That's why it becomes hard for me to pull triggers like this. Like I said, I want to see Qs take out I keep getting that number wrong. 47740 basically. 47740 on the QQQ and watching that level. There's no good news in the market right now. That's the other thing. Like, why? Really, you need shorts to cover, or we need to get so extended that some buyers are like, oh yeah, I'll DCA into this a little bit over the next month. Otherwise, why would you buy this market right now? That's what I keep asking myself as well. We're risk off. There's max fear in the market. No one wants to hold on to anything. Trump's not doing anything at all to settle this market down. In fact, he's doing quite the opposite, with constant threats of increasing tariff pressure, and now he's talking about possible recession. This is not helping the market bid upside, so I have to remember that. Here goes the Qs then, coming towards that level that I talked about. So 47730 basically. So now we have that initial balance set. Where's my IB? What is going on? Maybe it will come after this candle. I don't understand why it's not there. Oh, do you know what it is? It's because the clocks have changed, isn't it? That's what it is. There we go. Yeah, sorry. So anyone who's had that same issue, it's just because the clocks have changed. Just make sure you change your input. The QQQ still not taking out that level. Yeah, exactly, Peter. Yeah, that was exactly it. I had to change the time. Still just trading downside here. Still continues to drift lower here. All right. Again, no reason to bid on this right now. Market very, very, very heavy. Watching this now into IB. Do we get a failed auction and some form of rotation? Or are we going to stay heavy versus the initial balance and just keep drifting lower? Right now, it's not giving me any confidence to pull a trigger on a long right now, that's for sure. Very, very heavy. How far away are Qs now? Not too far. Not too far away on that last drive. Looks like it wants to take it. 77.30, I think we keep saying it is. 477.30. So market the Qs are gunning for. We're watching this initial balance as well. Right, we either get that auction down or a failed auction and return back inside the range. I'm going to do an anchored view up on my Ninja Trade as well off the New York Open. Yeah. Which would take us to previous day low. So anchor view up would take you to previous day low if we get a rotation. Here you go. There you go. Q's now taken that daily level. Q's just took that daily level. 77.30s, like we talked about. That was the level it was gunning for. So QQQ just took it. Have to see how we act here. Tesla still selling now, almost 9.5% down. Remember, 10% down, the magic number for when it will go SSR. QQQ's did just take a huge chunk of daily liquidity there. Yeah, no reason to long this. This is staying heavy right now. If we start returning inside, start pivoting, we can think about something maybe if we get lucky. It's called Sati's volume, I think it's called. Their dopamine. Sati's volume. Market very, very, very heavy. I'm just not really interested in longing this. I actually would like the drive high to get short into. It's just not offering anything right now. Every single thing is being sold. Every pop's been sold. Complete panic in the market right now. VIX new high of day. ES week, new lower day here on ES. Q's actually not printing a new low of day, interestingly. So QQQ at that level that it just took, all right? It's a big daily level there. It keeps finding a little bid in front of it, so maybe that was a short covering target here a little bit for the Qs. Who knows? But we're still watching this now to see if we get a failed auction or an auction versus the initial balance. That's the question right now. Market very, very, very heavy here. There's your return back inside the IB. Now, do they sell this now for that first test? Oh, I've got to change it on my other charts. -4. Sorry, folks, just trying to change all my charts here because the IB is off on absolutely everything here. I've only just seen it. There we go. The tech rep continues, yeah. There's a little bit of a cover there for sure. Now, do they sell this? This is the question. Back to IB. Do they sell this? ES back to IB. Everything testing its initial balance low. Either sellers come back in here for new lows or we get that sort of squeeze relief higher that we keep talking about, which is possible. It's not probable. It's possible. The PDL also key on the ES, right? Because it's much, much closer to it. Failing in front of PDL there so far. Again, no bullish structure yet. You're still at the IB low. We did sweep every key level I was looking at on the ETFs here. Definitely. So I think there's a chance to move lower and like really put in some nasty sell before it thinks about a rotation, but who knows? The market has a habit of leaving lots of resting liquidity at the moment. So here's your trade back inside the range so far. And there's the squeeze up off the IB. Now, can it get towards VWAP? VWAP is all the way up here. The anchored VWAP is up here if it's going to really go. And you've got this downtrend here, remember. If it's going to do that, you'd like to see it sort of drive up and use some build some liquidity, use some of these guys here to get upside. That's what you'd like to see if it's going to do that move. So ES tapping into previous day low, as is the SPY. All right, big levels. Acceptance back above previous day low might allow like non-acceptance outside of it and a drive back inside the range. Remember, think about the daily now. We've taken all liquidity outside previous day low. So swing shorts have come in versus previous day low. If that stays heavy, we go lower. If they reclaim that, those swing shorts might get in trouble a little bit because you get breakout shorts on daily timeframes versus previous day low. So thinking about all these things, so many things going through my head at once right now. Yes, TR. Yeah, clock's changed. The clock's changed. Tech's still very, very heavy here. ES, SPY so far. That last drive up, tapped previous day low, and they sold into it. All right, that's the key level right now on the spiders is previous day low. So either we get acceptance back inside here for a drive up to test this, which is what ES has just done. ES has effectively tested this and is trading back down. And just letting this build out liquidity right now. It's been very, like, even though we've been heavy, it's been very measured this morning. There aren't many imbalances, all right? There are not many imbalances. It's been very controlled selling this morning. Hardest thing for me right now is thinking, where are the low-hanging fruits? If we're going to go lower, we've taken everything on the Qs and the SPY that I'm interested in. So is there a return back in higher for me to either get long or wait, consider it out and wait for it to offer a short opportunity? Just having a scout around, trying to see the next big levels. What's this I've got marked out? 500. Yeah, that's... All right, so liquidity above. Seller just came on the tape. 737 on the tape. Biggest order of the day. 104 lot. And we have some buyers underneath, but sort of only looking at 10 and 20 lots. There is a 60 lot at 10, but 610, but not huge size. Again, watching auction versus failed auction. That's what we have now, but gonna try and be patient here if it's gonna set up. Extra patient on a Monday. Don't mind. If I honestly, it's one of those, if I don't get a trade because I've stuck to my rules, I'm going to delete this now because we're under it, and didn't take a short in demand, that's okay. I'd rather stick to my rules, not have a trade set up, than go against them and get myself in trouble. Or be, even worse, be rewarded for going against my rules. My rules keep me safe, even when I miss trades like today. They still keep me safe. Yeah, it's funny you say that, don't trust media. I have that marked out on my hourly chart. And I just checked why. And again, it's because that was the level that we rolled over in September. That was the number. All right, so ES again coming back up towards IB high. It keeps coming back to check IB high here. The question is this another bear flag to sell lower, or is it failure to auction lower and a drive higher? Right now, I still don't like the longs. There's nothing in here to look at long yet. Had one tiny squeeze. I say tiny, it was almost 100. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? These like tiny little, what looks like tiny is about 100 points over 2-3 minutes. Every pop being sold, every single pop being sold in this market. I wish there was a way of me being able to draw things out on Ninja and it replicating it on TradingView or vice versa, so I don't have to do it twice all the time. Okay, so some bids here into 610 and 600. Bids down here. VIX still holding, you know, above 2650, above that previous day high. It's still holding a bid up there. New lows here. Yep, definitely. Well, it's basically at 600 already. Nvidia now almost 5% down. Meta almost the same. Google almost the same. Apple 4.5%. I mean, the market is just getting attacked here, but it is controlled. It doesn't. It's weird, isn't it? It doesn't feel like panicking. It's very controlled right now. I wouldn't say there's like a huge capitulation in the market. There's not some huge panic in the market. It's very controlled selling on the way down so far. Ironclad, I should have listened to Warren Buffett a month ago when he sold everything. He went cash, didn't he, in most of his portfolio. So far, that auctioning lower here. Continues to auction lower. Remember, this is a huge daily imbalance right here. And QQQ has taken out all the key levels. I'm going to just have a quick look. I have to keep going back now on the spiders and Qs to look for the next level it might want to run for. We're coming into an RBS level here on the SPY. Definitely. On the daily, I'm looking at dailies and weeklies. Sorry, when I say that, I'm looking at dailies and weeklies. Yeah, just straight move down. You look at like the 15-minute bars. I had that one drive up and everything being sold. New high day on VIX. It's going to be one of those days where I'm not going to get a trade. I can feel it. I can feel it. Nice, Crawford. Congratulations. Good work. The bounce there after taking 600 out. A little bit of a squeeze here. Do we go back to IB and try and reclaim? No idea. No idea right now. I'm watching ES like, here we go. This thing's trying to get off the races. ES back to IB. Remember, previous day low key here on ES if it gets through IB. The timing of this is not going to be easy. Here's your first test of IB on the Qs. ES through IB. Now, does it reject previous day low? This is where timing is going to be very, very hard. Ironclad, it's not actually a daily gap. All right, it's not actually a, maybe you joined late. Have a look at when that happened. It's actually rollover. It's actually a rollover, which is slightly different to a gap, right? Looks like a gap, but it's just, it skipped up on rollover. So this is what I mean. That's why I go back and look at the ETFs. Rather than that being a genuine, yeah, exactly, new contract, exactly. So it was the jump up on the new contract. It wasn't actually a genuine gap up. I keep looking at it the same. First thing I did this morning was look at that and then went straight to QQQ to see what that level would be. But yeah. So failing there, failing IB high, IB low, ES getting absolutely whacked off it. We didn't quite make it there on the market, on the Qs, but selling into that IB low. They're protecting that IB low for now. I did TR, yeah, I talked about it earlier about that. What looks like a gap actually being the rollover date. And I talked about how I'm looking at the QQQ and SPY for that reason, because ETFs don't roll over, so you get more genuine price. There's a seller up here, 675 and then 730s looking to get filled if you can get filled up there. 635, did I say? 675, sorry. 675, 680, basically just through the IB. Yeah, it is crazy, Coop. It is crazy. We are in a sell, that's for sure. Just expanding lower and lower and lower and lower and sticking those bowls out further and further and further. Swing shorts, definitely having fun right now. Just going to get a jumper hit. Give me a second. Still trying to regulate temperature properly, I think, in my body. Very heavy market. No bids beneath either. There's no bids beneath. There's no big size beneath. I am running out of things for it to look for right now. Again, it feels controlled though. Right? It feels controlled. It's not like we're seeing this. You know, it's not straight down. I know it's down, but it has been fairly controlled in its move down. That's sort of your channel. We can easily expand that, but that's sort of where you're at right now. Six months of price taken out. Wow. 6 months of price absolutely cleaned out the market. Yep, TR, yeah, it's taken them. Yeah, it has. We're basically trading back to rollover price, right? Which is September 1st. John, oh yeah, major fear, John. I'm looking for that fear to get so big that I would love that panic day. You know, that 1,000, 2,000 point down, maybe a halt down day. And then in my swing accounts, I'd like to start slowly buying the market. When everyone's freaked out, completely freaked out and gone over the top, I'd love to start buying the market. But not for a trade. That's talking about just picking it up long term. If we can have like a major sell, if we can get down to like some major key levels on dailies, if we can give back all the way back down to like 18.5, maybe even lower. I don't even mind lower. The lower the better. If I'm talking about swing account, I'm talking about investing, holding it for 20 plus years. Lower the better. Right here, basically. These levels right here. All around here. We're starting to drift into this leg. So we can think about this whole leg basically is where buyers came in for this drive. It's all these buyers in here who created this drive. It's a huge pool. So it is possible we could think about this as a whole fib in here. It's possible that we want to drive into this part before finding a return, probably back to there and then finding sellers. So not today, but low 1918. Let me just check that on. Oh, sorry, on the wrong one. Sorry. All right, so we're breaking that downtrend. We're going to get that overshoot that we talked about. This basically, this here is where buyers came back in. Value from this would be 19, let's just call it 19,200. 19,200 will be 50% of this pullback leg before we expanded upside. I'm just going to leave that marked out very slightly. Here comes the panic. Major sell. Breaking all time frames, everything breaking down right now through like big daily levels. Through big daily levels. Tesla 9% down market. Like, look at all of Apple. Everything is just getting sold. No reason to get long yet. No reason to get long yet. Everything has just been in a sell. Controlled selling. It had a chance here to pivot. It failed to hold, so we didn't get long because it didn't break above anything. Controlled selling. Rejection. Didn't even get there. So weak, whereas ES got there and sold. So didn't even get a sell here to get involved in. So now I'm just sort of stuck doing nothing right now, unfortunately. Happens sometimes. Coming back down into those 500s, you know, like that old That old contract. VIX now, new high day, 27s. Yeah, totally. GB, I'm in the same boat, mate. I'm in the same boat. But, you know, this is what happens sometimes. And just remember, if we don't get it and we don't get a trade today, that's also okay. There's more days coming, like tomorrow. You know, it's okay. It's just one day. One day is not going to define your life if you don't get involved in it. It's all right. It is annoying, yeah. It is annoying for sure. For sure. I'm not denying that. Right, new hour coming in 3 minutes as well. Just remember that. This this hourly candle is a monster. It's massive. Exactly, TR. Exactly, TR. ES has actually offered better structure. If you look at ES, its structure, when it drove up, it created bear flag and bear flag again versus previous day low versus the IBL. It offered much better structure. We're just in a straight sell here. Tesla 9.3 now, 9.40 now, accelerating towards that 10%. Remember that 10% is the SSR level. Like I said, I expect Tesla to go SSR today. Happy circuit breaker anniversary. Oh, what, from COVID? Is it really, John? The COVID circuit breaker, is it really? Spartan, pretty much. There's a little bit in my chest, but literally as I say that, it's just a bit of a dry cough left, but I don't feel too bad. I'd say like 80, 90% better. Wow, John. I didn't know that. Can you imagine if they circuit it down today? That'd be funny. Anniversary circuit. That would be funny. So expanded through here, finding a bid in front of 500. It actually found a bid, I think. Look at this level I had in. I think it is actually off. That is the old contract level. Oh, it's an old point of control. Just missed it. I was thinking, what is that? Look at this old gap for that rollover gap up. It's an old point of control. Okay. But I don't fully trust these when we do these because I know when we roll contracts, they don't always work. You're into old levels. New hourly bar here, guys. All right, so think about how far can this hourly bar retrace? All the way up to 750 quite easily if it wants to. All right, it can also pump up and get sold into and expand the range lower very easily. But we're just going to be patient here. Watch your ATR, please. Watch the ATR. We're still in a downtrend here. Starting to find a few covers into this new hourly bar. How far can this retrace? It can reprice all the way up to 750 basically if it wants to. What are we doing, market? I'm not selling down here, market. You got to give me something. Everything's still underneath IB. Still watching those IB levels. Here's the relief. So we're coming back up towards IB, back up towards that 600, that whole number. ES already at its IB. It's just shot straight up there. Straight upside move there on the ES, on this new hourly bar. Still in a downtrend. We're technically still in a downtrend. Just remember that. I'm going to see if we reprice up here and build liquidity for a bit of a drive higher, or if this pop is just instantly sold into. So ES back to IBL right here. If it gets through IBL, and it might run those stops and trade into previous day low. So still sellers at IB low on the ES. NQ just can't get anywhere near a level to give us good RR here. Seller on the book at 600, not a big size, just 25 lot. Oh, I guess he's 100 lot split into two. And then 100 lot up at 680s. Repricing an old 5-minute bar here. It's an imbalance here on a 5-minute. Watching to see if we close over it and how we act. Right here. We're going to start to hold that. It might be the first signature of something, but so far we're in a downtrend. There's no real reason to be thinking about higher prices right now. ES rejecting IBH again. Very, very key levels here. Finding sellers there again on ES. I know, Peter, I know. I'm not touching it long. I'm really not. Like, I'm keep telling myself we're in a downtrend. We're respecting the flow zones. We're underneath the IBL. I can't be longing this yet. It would be early, early, early. I don't think we get that V-shaped recovery squeeze that we saw on Friday either. I think what I would like to see is a drive up to sell into. Exactly. No one trapped yet. Exactly. Other than bulls who keep dip buying and dip buying and dip buying and getting slapped. No one else. Yeah, exactly, Peter. I keep telling myself that. I want it to go higher, not only for me to long if I'm going to take a scalp, but also so I can try and have a go at a short today at some point. ES is starting to set up that inverted head and shoulders look, though, underneath the IBL. If they run those stops, I do think ES has got a chance of coming back up to run these stops at sort of 69 and then drive up towards 75. NQ, much, much weaker. All right, so the difference is ES basically has... Let me draw. Why don't you let me draw today? ES is basically here right now, right? So it can do this move. It's right here, building liquidity here right now. Look how much weaker NQ is, much, much lower down. That's 600, big level on the Qs, it seems. Refresh selling into that. Peter was in early, TR. He was in from the London session. I think he was in from 20,100, Peter's, I think. He was in from up here. There you go, 20,100, yeah. No close above that imbalance yet. Still selling into it. Just make sure it's drawn out properly. That seller up at 680 just left. Market trying to build that inverse head and shoulder on the ES here. That's what I can see being built out. Coming back up to that IB high. If they let it through IB high, it's going to try and attack the previous day low. That's what's trying to happen here on the market. That's what the market's attempting to do. Whether it does it or not is another thing. But that's what the market is attempting to do. So there's the IB high, through IB high now on the ES. Now, if it's going to sustain a bid here, it has a chance to go up to previous day low. Big level, because we know it's IB high. It's a big level there. So far, getting slapped off it again. Back at IB high again. They get through this, they're going to go for PDL on the ES. Then maybe we get that run up to IB high on NQ. But NQ, maybe the first sign of trying to put in a higher low here. Maybe the first sign. If it can flip this, like I said, it might be an early indication. Very early to be thinking about something like that. But it's possible. Not probable, it's possible. They would need acceptance above IBH for IBL. Yes, sorry, IBL on ES. Sorry, do I keep saying IB high? I'm sorry. IBL, my bad. The initial balance low, watching that. If they build the inverse head and shoulders look on that for ES, if they get acceptance above it, they're going to go for PDL. If they can get through that, you might get a drive higher. But so far, every drive into IBH has been sold into on the ES. So I'm just watching those levels closely. Might be another bear flag here as we start to break down. Overextended this channel. We can possibly build this. If it's going to go low. If it keeps holding this 5 minute, it has this drive up into here. Let's put an anchor off the New York Open in as well. Just so we've got one. That's our New York Open view up. Not that much relief above IB if it does it, but that's where it is. Here it goes then. Off to the races. Top side of that channel now. Yes, through the IBH, IBL. God, Alex, Monday morning, sort your words out. Through the IBL, it's going to want to check in with that PDL if it sustains a bid here. All right, if it sustains a bid here on the ES, it's going to want to check in. Very different looking charts, the ES and the NQ right now, just in terms of how they've built liquidity. All right, like I said, ES is here right now, above this, having built this out. It has a chance to do this move here back towards its VWAP. And look for some inefficiencies that we might want to fill here. If I'm going to really think about that move. It's so controlled on a 5 and a 15 minute on the way down. It doesn't actually give me that much confidence about the longs unless it just wants to clean all these people up. But it was very controlled in that method down. That doesn't give me confidence in that move today. Yes, very efficient, TR. I agree. It's been very efficient price action today. It's actually been steady. It might not have felt like it, but it's been pretty steady other than this part here. Even that was fairly steady, but this was more aggressive as we traded from 640 to that 120 point move in like 7 minutes, whatever it was. Other than that, it's been very steady. Starting to build out volume down here, though. we start trading sideways here for a little bit. This is where you might start to build liquidity and get one side trapped. This is the first time, if you think about the morning session, we drove up, we accelerated down, then we just gently step down. This is the first time we're starting to do this. So if we do this, what happens? Relief here or relief here, basically, once we build liquidity in there. Overall trend on the day is down. Overall higher time frame trend is down. High time frame market is bearish. Any pop up today will be a counter trend play. I really don't like it until we start taking out these levels. I know we're starting to hold this 5-minute imbalance, but I still don't trust this. I'd want to see it basically get to here and offer a trade up to here, maybe here. And then I'd be looking short. At any point during that point, I'd be looking short. Maybe Saradi, but it's very hard to think of it like that. I'm just going to, honestly, I'm kind of waiting for us to get up into here and then make a decision on what I think market might want to do. I'm also watching the ES, like I'm watching the VIX trade back inside old range now. Failed previous day highs, traded back downside. So that's what's helping with the relief here. If VIX starts failing 26 and has a bigger drive lower, then we might get more relief on the ES. That might in turn help the Qs move higher a little bit. So I am considering that, like, all those moves. Feels like we want to go and check in with the IB low here. Here goes the ES. So ES back through IBL. That inverse head and shoulders has now been built out. If we break this little structure here, we should come and check in with the previous day low. I'm talking about the ES here. Okay, I'm talking about the ES here and what I'm describing happening. Slower day today, team. I know I missed that short this morning. Didn't fit my parameters, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Also thinking about an H1 this hour. If we can bid up a little bit, it can help form a bigger bear flag this hour as well. So if we can bid up here, lower time frame long for some relief, it can build out a bear flag on the hourly chart. Also thinking about that. All right, so here goes the market. ES still trying to get to that previous day lows. What it wants to do, it wants to raid those stops up to previous day low on the ES. NQ trying to hold 600. We've got stacks of sellers here now. 625 all the way up to 650. Small stacks, right? We're talking about 10 lot and 25 lots, not talking about huge size. Bond chips, yeah, maybe, but it's still rejecting that IBL. No close above it. It keeps getting above it, has a trade through to previous day low if it wants to, and view up, and it's so far keeps struggling, but it's potential. I've got a funny feeling I'm not going to get anything today. Just got a feeling. Back towards that imbalance we created on a 5-minute. Finding a bid there, interestingly, on that first reaction in. Did it sweep? Nope. No internal sweep there. Crazy to see Nvidia trading at 107. Wow, what a haircut. What a haircut. ES being a much nicer trader today. Cannot drive high enough up to give me the short I'm interested in. Cannot set up anything to give me that counter trend. Long I'm interested in right now. Oh, haircut, like a trim. Like it's given back a lot is what I'm saying on Nvidia. It wasn't long ago that, what were the highs on Nvidia? It was way, way up there. Highs were like, what, 153? So it's given back best part of $50 in a matter of weeks. That's a haircut. It's a crew cut. Yeah. It's a full skinhead shave. A skinhead shave will be down to 0, won't it? It's a bit of a fade. I like that, TR. All right, we're still holding that 5-minute imbalance. This market still, it wants to find a little bit of relief here, but it is struggling. Like I said, they keep stacking these sellers from 625 up to 650. Everything so far downside, right? This can still just be a new bear flag, remember? Be a giant bear flag, especially on the hourly. I'd like it to drift higher. Why won't you draw for me today? What is wrong with you? I would actually like this to drift higher, right? And this be the counter trend long and offer a short down here on an hourly back down to here. Why would that make sense? Think about what we're doing on an hourly right now. What I would like is to see some relief on the hourly to then sell into for at least a retest of this low, and then it can hold a runner lower if it wants. So far, it seems unwilling to give me anything I want today. Yes, failing that IBH. Still has a chance to build out this inverse head and shoulder look. So the look on ES is a little bit better here than the NQ. NQ just looks weak. Really weak. Again, Tesla not at that 10% level yet. Might as well get to 10%, Tesla. Shellapped. Absolutely slapped again here. Back towards the low of day. Cleaning out the liquidity. Yeah, all you have to do is full port short. Yeah, I'm happy to get short. It's just not offering me where I wanted. Once we broke down, I think it was under here. I was looking for a retest into here. Didn't get it. Came up short here. Didn't want to chase in this move. And then I've missed all of this. This is probably just my fault. And then we've never retested here or here, whereas ES has retested this and failed and retested this and failed. It's just one of those things. It's okay. I'm not gonna kill myself over it. What it might do, GB, is rather than reaching for that one above, it might create one in the next hour and then over lunch drive in. Yeah, so it might wait for this new closure. Patient, patient, patient. Yeah, it's just one of those things, GB. No big deal. Just come back tomorrow. You've got a whole week ahead of you. It's only Monday. There's no news today as well. Don't worry. If we're moving this much off no news, imagine what's going to happen later in the week. Plenty of opportunities left. Plenty of opportunities left. This still looks like it's trying to drift lower now. VIX back through previous day high. So we're just starting to build out a bit of a range here like we talked about. is our range. Yeah, exactly. Real move was short, definitely. But the best move, if you're not overly fussy like me, the best move was from London, where Peter got in from London. Made total sense. Like once we started to fail this gap down from Friday to Sunday, push up, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, failure, pull back in. These are sell points, sell points, sell points. And then we're just aggressive here. Unfortunately, when I'm looking for a sell, is all the way up there. Did we even retest this orange section? We didn't even retest here. We did on the ES, right? So ES actually get better RR trades today. ES retested those sell points very, very well. Still holding that 5-minute flip here is interesting. Is this the first higher low on the day? Just looks so ugly, this chart now at this point. Barnchip saying, I see all major players and market indexes as monster longs here, intraday and for short-term swings, because the range on the last few days have been so large. I mean, yeah, possibly. I mean, we are at value areas for buys. We are extended into weekly and daily Bollinger Bands, but there's no trigger from a macro standpoint to give us that long, right? It's not like we're like, hey, we can cut rates, or hey, inflation's not as bad as we thought, or hey, we're not going to do these tariffs, or, you know, there hasn't been like a news trigger to really help us. And that's the biggest problem right now. And the reason we're drifting lower is because people keep trying to buy the dip this morning and we keep going lower. But I understand what you're saying. Like I said, the lower we go, the more I'm interested in a swing long from an investment point of view. But, you know, we know the markets can always go further than we think. It's the one rule. The markets can always go further than you think and you're prepared for. My Ninja Trader's just stopped, guys. And I've got data here and everything says it's online. So just be aware of that. My Ninja Trader has just stopped at 6:01. I can show you. It's completely stopped. Be aware of that. I don't know if there's a data issue there, but it's just stopped playing ball. And it says I'm online. So I'm going to try and disconnect this and reconnect. But be aware of that. There might be some issues again with Tradeovate from what I've just seen there. It'll be fun, won't it? I'll be waiting that whole time and then Tradeovate just stopped. Yours is fine. Okay, well, I've refreshed. We'll just see now. But it shouldn't be doing that. That's not a good sign. Yes, Gus, exactly. Markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. That's exactly it. All right, so market trying to squeeze up again here towards that IB high. At 5-minute imbalance held. IB high, IB low. God, why can't I get that right today? ES is back at the IBL again. Again, if it can squeeze through here, it has a relief trade up towards previous day low. Then you have to see if the sellers come in there or not on the ES. NQ relative weakness still nowhere near previous day low. Still not through its IB high. It is building out liquidity here. We have sellers on the tape here up to 650. You might be right, Peter. I mean, I can feel it in me. You might well be right. It's very, very strong. And my wife came back saying how much she liked the coffee from Costa Rica and that she's going to order a load more. I might be telling her when she gets home today from work that I think we should order some light roast Trader Joe's. Something nice and easy. Something that doesn't make me feel like I'm a gangster from the 1980s living in Marbella putting stuff up my nose, you know? Something nice and chill. Yeah, I added milk. I added more milk and more water as well. So sellers stacking up here in 30, 40, 50, and 60 lots. Okay, from 625 to 650. That's where they're stacking up, looking to get filled on the sell. So that basically would take us all the way up to the IB, right? They're trying to sell from, where did I say, 25s from here to here. There's just orders stacked here looking to get filled. Remember, technically, we are in a trend day all the time. We're beneath that IBL. Technically, we're in trend day lower. I don't know what the targets are left to aim for. We are in a huge daily imbalance here, this grey box. Like I said, we want to be careful because I don't fully trust this, because we can push, be a two-leg pullback, fail, and then create this move to come and reattack these. Failure again at IBL there for the ES. Failure again at IBL there for the ES. They're starting to add a bit more size here into these cells now. Right, so they might want to drag this up here to get filled from 620 now up to 650. They're starting to add a little bit more size. It's not that I'm necessarily looking for long, so I'm looking for that drive up to reprice and then maybe sell into. Yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. It's not. I don't even think the coffee that my wife brought back from Costa Rica was expensive. It was local coffee, but she really enjoyed it. But it was probably because she was waking up in beautiful weather in the jungle on the beach, surfing 4 hours a day. I would imagine everything tastes good at that point, you know. They're still trying to build that inverse head and shoulder on the ES. It's still got a relief build in this. Back to IBL again, still selling versus that. If they let it through that, it can come and test out the PDL, like I said. Starting to get towards here now. Remember, your New York VWAP is here. Above that, your main VWAP is here. We'd have to get through previous week low to even try and do that. If we got through previous week low, swing shorts are going to be a major, major problem. Breakout shorts in this market who took the breakout underneath Friday's low will get squeezed if we start trading through previous day, previous week low. Juan Carlos saying, try Guatemalan coffee. If I can get it, I'll try anything if I can get it. There's some relief coming into this market here. Repricing that old H1 a bit. Point of control on the day is now down here. All right, basically just under 600. All right, so most volume on the day now was created in here. Just be aware of that. All the time we're holding that, it's possible sellers get trapped down there. Here's your return into the IBL here on the NQ. Took its time to get anywhere near it, didn't it? ES is still hanging around on it. So just a small bit of relief here in the market. Remember, we're starting to break that downtrend now. There are stops it can aim for. If it really wants to squeeze all the way up to this VWAP, it can do so. Remember, this is the New York VWAP. This is where you have liquidity resting right now. No, that's correct. The way you're marking gaps is correct. The gap is up here. That's the gap. It's way up there. We were basically gap and go this morning. We gapped down and we sold off. We're in a gap and go setup. So there's your first tap on IBL here. It looks like it's trying to get ready for its relief up to that New York VWAP. All right, and now you've got ES already tapping on previous day low. So far, no acceptance, no true acceptance underneath here. All right, this was our first higher low, higher low, higher low, starting to drive up and aim for these areas of liquidity. So there's your view up here, and then previous week low up here. So squeeze relief starting to come into the market now. This is what we wanted to see finally starting to happen. So if we can get acceptance over IBL, we can drive up towards VWAP and that liquidity on the left. It can go and start to aim for it. If they're going to let it through these 650s now properly, it can keep going higher. They're starting to add liquidity on the tape up towards 700 to drag it up there. How we act here is key. ES traded through previous day low and found a sell there. So does it create an RBS level and start to soak here? Same for the NQ. Can we hold like an IBL level? Starting to look long here, adding into this just for that squeeze up towards VWAP. Finally getting a trade here today. And that last pullback into the IBL, looking for that squeeze up towards VWAP. Selling some here in case we find these sellers here that are on the tape. They're starting to stack here all the way up to 700. We're already locking some in. It might not look like much, but it's 25 points very quickly. Remember, if we start selling here, we go rotation all the way back down towards the lows. The RBS levels you'd be looking at are basically here. This is resistance, resistance, broke through. If they hold this and reclaim, we go higher. If they fail this, then this was the pop that we talked about 5 minutes ago to come and retest the low. We are starting to see that relief back towards the VWAP here. This is New York VWAP, remember. ES now through previous day low and previous week low. So if you are a breakout short on ES, you're starting to get what I call squeaky bum time. Right, I'd start to be a little bit nervous if I was a breakout short on ES versus previous day low. If we start getting squeezy here, we're going to go for VWAP. Or at least going to go for 686 and 682. We take those out. We go for VWAP here on the ES. So if you are a breakout short, remember we have breakout shorts in the market because we expanded beyond the previous day and previous week range. So if we then reclaim the old range and trade an inside bar, that's when I would be nervous if I was a breakout player, which is what we're starting to do. Right, so shorts on ES, not on NQ yet. Remember, well, I'm talking about this level here. ES is above this level here, to make that clear. Right, so we're starting to reclaim. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking to take money off the table into here. I've already locked some in, but just so we're clear, looking to try and get into the New York VWAP. Yep, still got a tiny bit left. Looking for that trade into the VWAP, into around the 700s. And that will give me 50 points. I've peeled a lot off on that last push. What I know is if we can base here for a bit, my flow zones can start to catch up. And they can offer some support up into here. If we fail here, right, then I know that this buy will be a false buy, and we can do this trade back down into here, which I also don't mind trading. But ideally, we come back in towards here. I've locked most in already. Back to point of entry here. Absorbing off it. Very nice, absorbing off IBL. I want to see ES hold previous day low here. Patience, patience, patience. Sticking to the system. Sticking to the system. This liquidity on the book. I'm going to sell a tiny little bit more here. Come on, get going. Let's go, market. Let's go, market. Let's go, market. How patient, so patient, waiting for this to happen. I know it might look small, but 50, 60 points, but high probability, and that's the difference. Big level 700. Remember, this is a daily imbalance. This big grey box is a daily imbalance. We're coming back up to the top side of it. Like I said, I expect sellers to come back in the market at some point. If we're going to look at the hourly, we're repricing the old hour. Like I said, at the beginning of this hour, we can reprice basically up to 740. All right, so that would be a reprice of 740. If it wants to find sellers, it can. If it wants to go all the way up here, it can. We're just watching. But most of the volume point of control now down here on the day. So those of you who stuck around with me, I know I had to be so patient today. It's so boring watching Alex not take a trade, but now he's in the winner. Let's go. All planned out. Looking good here. ES has reclaimed previous day low. Now we're looking for a drive up. Okay, like we said, ES is starting to take out those liquidity levels. It's hit TP1 on ES. It's already taken out the 81 level. The next level on ES would be 86 and then VWAP. That will give the NQ strength if we're going to do it. Where is the low run of liquidity? These guys here, right? Anything taking these guys out now is a bonus and then previous week low. Maybe we find some selling into there. Maybe we go through VWAP. If we get acceptance over previous week low, what does that mean? Breakout shorts, who would be swing shorts on daily and weekly timeframes, are going to get trapped, okay? And we're going to use their stops to get up here. If we protect this level, then they're in the money and we come down and we build a range out here. But you should be taking partials or taking most of your size off. This is the low-hanging fruit trade. We're finding sells into that low-hanging fruit right now. So hopefully some of you got that with me. I know I missed out on all of this. I know. But once we flip this 5-minute imbalance and we held and we broke structure and we created this, and then I was very confident to join at that point. So I wasn't buying long down here. I was waiting. Yeah, waiting for the market to tell me, hey, I'm ready now. I'm ready to go up a little bit now. You can join me. So drop me W's in chat if you took that and you got some of it with me. Jack saying, nice going. Phenom feels good. Crawford, awesome. Peter saying, patience paid off. Yeah, it always pays off, doesn't it? The more you learn that, it always pays off. Julian, never boring. Mr. Slim, W's. I love it, guys. I love it, guys. Big W for Coop. Leron, beautiful. Crawford, stick to your rules and it pays off. That's exactly it, guys. I say it every time, don't I? Stick to your rules and it pays off. You're not scared of trading against the higher time frame trend? No, GB. It's a different kind of trade, right? I don't have the expectations for this trade to go to ever, right? So I'm looking for this long move up, and then I'm ready to short it back down, back in line with the trend, right? We've got to think the trend doesn't go straight down forever and ever and ever. The trend goes like this. Yeah, so this is where we are now. We're in this relief on an hourly. In a relief on an hourly, and then we're going to look for a short for a continuation trade. Yeah, so it's just we're setting up. This trade here sets up a better short. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do the course, it's all explained there, GB. Everything's in there. So W's for Array, Lee Kim, Marek, Stephen, Christy, Brian. You entered in the green buy box. Missed that part. I actually entered here. I entered on this pullback for this move up. Right, so what we do now is going to become key. Missed your entry. Can we get an audio alert? Flow Zones has entered. Yeah, I know. Aaron, do you know how to do that? It'd be nice to do that, wouldn't it? I didn't wait long enough. Got chopped up. Sorry to hear that, Tyson. Good win on the eval, though. Okay, that's good. I was out after passing evaluation. Nothing to trade on that move yet. So look, we found sellers at where? At our target. There's our target. If we base here, we get acceptance higher. If we fail to base here, all right, then we're going to move and use this liquidity to go lower. All right, so there's your bear flag for that. I can't remember who asked it, the counter trend. We were joining long for this move up. This can be an H1 bear flag. If you were with me on stream a little bit earlier, I said to you, what can we set up on the H1? Why would I like to see this go higher? Because this bar here can rebalance this, and this here can create a bear flag to go lower. So we expect, look how big the break is today. Boom, we expect relief to sell into to go lower. Understanding the higher time frame narrative will help you. Yes, the pro trend is easier, but I had to wait to get the counter trend because I missed the pro trend so far this morning. right? So this is what we're looking at now. So back to RBS levels. These levels here are going to be key. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Do we find support on that? You can even think about it from this leg here. Golden zone pickup. If they trap, if they're done selling for the day, which I'm not convinced of, right, then they'll do this, right, to go up here. Otherwise, if we start chopping into here, I lean back short side because this is the squeeze over. Remember, this squeeze is these shorts getting squeezed out. Once they're squeezed out, smart money gets short. We go sideways here, build liquidity, go lower. Those are the potential plays. So either we hold this and do this, or we go sideways here and we go lower. So I'm going to be patient now and wait out. Made some good money on that last drive. Now I can just sit still for a second. Hopefully all of that made sense. If not, do the course. Do yourself a favor, do the course. Link is down below. One-time fee. It teaches you all of this stuff. Understanding the pro trend and the counter trend leg, when that counter trend leg might happen and how we trade it. Oh, interesting, Coop. Okay. I think what Aaron meant is because he's got this indicator is when this happens here, for it to go beep on trading view. So for those people who have the flow zones, for it to actually tell them not just the visual signal, but a sound signal. There you go. So they're starting to sell this back off now. So momentum coming back into the market for downside pressure. So if the next pops start to fail, we're going to get weak. Look at ES starting to sell aggressively now. Now watching ES, how it acts in that swing point of 655. You can set alerts on the trading view indicator already. Oh, I didn't know that. So you can just click it and set an alert. Do pops start to fail here? Back to RBS levels. Watching this level very carefully on ES to see if they fail it or they sweep it and turn inside. If they trap again underneath this old swing low here, this internal range swing low at 655. Interested if they trap here to go higher or if they're just going to go in straight sell mode. How far away from lunch are we? Not far. Looks like straight sell mode. Look at this. So drive up to be sold back downside. So this is what I was saying. Must lock in into here. This is counter trend. This made sense. There's your bear flag on an hour. So think about this. This is basically a 1 hour bear flag being built out. And then once we got there and we start to sell, we get stuck. This means no acceptance above. If we trade sideways here or build out any liquidity here, we can think about a short rotation back down to here. ES is already under this guy here. So it's so weak. ES went through previous day low and all the way back to here. So you understand the difference. I want to see if pops can fail now. Really, I don't really need to trade this at this point. I've had actually a very good day. A low-hanging fruit. So Coop saying, right-click on anything plotted by the flow zone indicator, then select add alert on the flow zone, and you have to set one for each buy and sell. Ah, that's really good to know. Thanks, Coop. So do me a favor, smash that like button. At least half of you watching right now have not hit that like button. Help me out, team. I know we have to be patient. I know, but that's just how it is. Right now, I'm waiting to see if it's going to offer a short now back down. Right now, can we use this liquidity? Can we do some form of quasi, maybe in here or even here if we have to? So maybe it does this and we can join either here or here if we can set up a quasi to move lower and take this guy out. Only problem with the short right now is we've built structure here and we're running out of targets, but so far it's telling me it wants to move low. If we get acceptance back above IB, then that changes, or back inside IB, that changes. Also, slightly careful because there is divergence in that we are sort of holding this RBS level on the Qs, whereas ES is down here. So ES came way under that level, but really I want to see if they short this back down here. Running out of time as well, running out of time as we come into lunch. Definitely running out of time. I'm just going to take this off now. You can tell I cannot regulate temperature properly still. In my Nirvana t-shirt this morning. Yeah, so interested if they sell ES versus IB here, or if it effectively sets up what some people call like an SBS type model. Also questioning, do I need to trade right now? Decent money on the day for a Monday. My ninja is a little bit laggy here, just even moving the screens. So it always makes me like a little bit nervous. Spartan, I'd be lying if I didn't say I had other streams of income, because I was a music producer and DJ for, 15 years and a successful one for 10. So I still get royalty statements every quarter. So I would be lying if I said I didn't have other businesses, but I do this full time. But I mean, I would say I'd get diminishing royalty statements for the rest of my life. Let's put it that way. They are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as less and less people will look at my old music. Oh, nice, Spartan. Yeah, that's cool. I actually thought about going into that side of it when I sort of retired. But yeah, I still make music for some people. I actually have a list of stuff I've got to do at the moment for some clients, but it's not my main. It's not my main gig. But I do enjoy still being creative, especially when this is so analytical. It's nice to give your brain a chance to do something else. Okay, so what I'd say here, this drive up is not telling me it wants to sell yet, which means this can be a sweep of this low and a hold of RBS. And if we build out here, this becomes more and more probable here. What's hard is the divergence between ES. Either this sells versus this back down, or which maybe it will do now, or it doesn't. The divergence between the two and how they're setting up is making it a little bit tricky. Look at the flow zone starting to flatten out here. It went from strong to flat. All right, so at this point, we either hold them or we fail back down. Decision point here on the lower time frame, I would say. Julian, what genre did I make? Dance, house, basically. House music. Yeah, so I spent 10 years traveling the world. I was very lucky. Had a couple quite big hits, and worked with a lot of big artists, and traveled the world and spent my summers in Ibiza and played over here and everywhere. China, Asia, New Zealand, all through Europe. A lot of shows in the UK. Oh my gosh, spent my life driving up and down the UK. So yeah, still finding a sell here. It's very tempting to get short here for this head and shoulder quasi type look that we talked about. I'm just very worried or skeptical that it's not a trap. Let me have a look at the book here. It's the timing of this. 10 minutes until the new hour. The timing of it. Feels like it wants to break down. Last push, failing the IB low. God, Peter's going to tell me off in a minute. Alex keeps saying IB high instead of IB low. Someone buy Alex a proper coffee and not the crap that his wife's got him. All right, so the quasi is this kind of look here. What's making this awkward is the divergence, because ES swept this low here and is trading back inside. We have the potential to hold an RBS here. It's a little bit tricky. It's like I'd almost wait for more confirmation. Gut says we've sold hard. We should fail here to go lower. Problem is, this would be such a nice trap if they've got no intention of selling this off for the rest of the day. And the other thing is, where are they selling it off to? What low-hanging fruits are left? Well, there's nothing on the Qs and the SPY for me to look at. And we came right into this imbalance on the daily. How far into the imbalance did we come? Over 50%, almost 61% of the imbalance on this daily bar. So this grey as a daily imbalance, it's making me think there's not much low-hanging fruit left lower right now. We're at the daily Bollingers, the weekly Bollingers. Do I want to be getting short down here? I knew it. I knew it, Peter. I knew it. You were there like, God, this guy can't talk properly. Yeah, Tyson. Yeah, I had the same, mate. Open it up. It's because the clock's changed. Open it up. Go here. Go to inputs and just change this to, well, I'm -4 instead of -5. So if you were -3 before, you'll be -2 now. That's all it is. Very tempting to look for a short here, but trying not to pull this trigger right now. Where can you listen? Spotify. My old group name was Tough Love. There was 2 of us. One of them, my friend Steph, he's still going. He's still doing it without me. Still best mates. Going to his wedding in June. So tricky here. Why am I not pulling the trigger? It's just the divergence right now because we've got an RBS level here. We've swept this and we've turned inside. ES has swept this and is trying to turn inside. Would I like a quasi? Yeah, that would be the pro trend move. But we're waiting for this H1 bar really to close and then we're into lunch. We're only 7 minutes away. So I'm asking myself, do I want to look for a short here into lunch? Or is this more likely to be a trap into lunch for squeeze relief? I actually have not that much edge in this. So what do I do when I lack edge? I don't trade. We can see today I took what most would consider a small trade, but it's the best part of 60 points. It's not bad. I know it's not 300 points on the fade, but I didn't chase. I stuck to my rules. Yeah, exactly. This 5-minute imbalance is still holding this grey box down here. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is still holding. But we also have one upside now. We have one here. Oh. We have one here. Holding to the downside. So we're stuck between 2. Trading between this one and this one right now. On an M5. Oh, of course you delete it. You bastard. I watched some great TV over the weekend, guys, especially when I wasn't feeling well. And if you Brits might like this one. I missed it. It came out in 2020. It's called Time, with Stephen Graham and Sean Bean. Amazing. Very dark, but very, very good. Take care, Peter. Take care. Have a good one. Still looks like we're building this head and shoulder / quasi underneath the IBH right now. It feels like it wants to break down into lunchtime. Definitely feels like this wants to break down. I'm trying really hard not to attack this on the short side. Trying really hard just to leave this alone. What was I saying? Yes, watch Time. Really good series. Anyone that's interested, dark British dramas, I thought it was fantastic. I also finished season 1 of 1,000 Blows, also with Stephen Graham. Such a good actor. Probably my favourite actor. Really enjoyed that as well. And now I'm going to move on to Severance. Not like Tenet, is it? I haven't watched Tenet, actually. My office buddy, who's a gooner, wants to ask, who do I think is more punchable in the face? Fernandez or Garnacho? Fernandez. Little rat. What an absolute rat. Especially after that bullshit free kick at the weekend where he was allowed to take it like an extra yard closer. What is this nonsense that we keep getting punished with at Arsenal? These terrible refereeing decisions. It looks like we're breaking down for that head and shoulder now, doesn't it? Starting to look weaker now. Will it come all the way back down for new lows? It means this H1 is going to close very, very weak. You only got 3 minutes left. Starting to look like a wally for not taking it, aren't I? What channel is time on? Jimbo, I live in Los Angeles, so I had to watch it on BritBox. I think it was a BBC drama. I think it was a BBC drama. Could be wrong. Tyson, he applauds. Yeah. He is. He's an absolute rat. So annoying. How do we have 70% possession? All that possession, all those shots, and he gets to score a free kick where the ref has made an absolute horrendous error. Like, yeah, as you can see, it peed me off quite a lot. The only saving grace was I got to watch England finally play some decent rugby at the weekend, so my weekend wasn't totally ruined. But yeah, Championship well and truly over. I mean, Premier League's been over for a week. I've been saying it since Christmas. We're not catching Liverpool, unfortunately. We've still got a shot at the Champions League. All right, still trading between these two M5 imbalances. These two light grey boxes, that's where we're trading between right now. Feels like it wants to go into a sell lower here. Closing this hourly very, very weak. Underneath old point of control now. So all those buyers who were above 615 on the hourly are starting to get trapped. All right, that's why we sold up there. We were expecting a short back down. Now starting to fail 600. Comfortably failing 600 here. Are we going to go and attack the lows? That's kind of the question I guess we need to ask ourselves. Are we going to attack the lows right now? Does the market find some relief? Who knows? Well, I don't know what it wants to do right now, but I would expect we move for some swing points lower. ES did just sweep again, though. Its internal low. How long till lunch? 1 minute till lunch. Into a range now, really. When we think about it, kind of into a range. Where are the sellers on the tape? Where are the buyers on the tape? Buyers on the tape down at 550. I know, Aid. Like, can't find ourselves a striker. And also, to be honest, we went like 3 or 4 games, not like once we lost like Saka and Havertz and a few others, like we actually stopped creating chances as well. So like we needed that confidence boost in the Champions League last week when we won, what was it, 7-1 or whatever. But actually felt like we created quite a lot of chances at Old Trafford yesterday and just didn't finish. We just didn't finish. Martinelli as well. Sometimes I find him frustrating to watch. Just lashes out at the ball when there's like an easy pass or a more simple finish. Oh, I love rugby is my main sport. I love it. Yeah, we do, Aid. We need an out-and-out striker. The problem is, who are we going to get? And who's going to be available and who's good? So new hourly bar here, folks. Just be aware, new hourly bar here. Who are we going to get? Who's available? That's the biggest problem right now is like, who's in, like, if we're in the market for one, who can we actually pick up? Do you know what I mean? What's his name at Newcastle? Well, Isak. I think he goes to Real or Barca or something if he's going to go anywhere. I don't think he comes to us, unfortunately. All right, folks, that's lunchtime. Job done. Be back same time tomorrow. Usual score. Use hard stops. Be smart. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. And pre-market tomorrow, we go again. All right. Big love, everyone. Thanks for being patient today. And everyone else in Discord, I'll see you all in a bit. Peace and love.